Hi guys! In today's video, you'll be learning about how to make a question in Korean using these 7 kinds of question words. Let's get started. If you need a subtitle, please turn on the CC in the settings. The first question word is 언제, which means when. Here are some example sentences where 언제 is used at the beginning of a sentence. When are you leaving? 언제 떠나요? 언제 떠나요? When did you wake up? 언제 일어났어요? 언제 일어났어요? When should we meet? 언제 만날까요? 언제 만날까요? If you're talking to your friends or people who are close to you, you want to use informal or casual speech instead of formal speech. And for informal speech, you just get rid of 요 at the end and just say 언제 떠나? 언제 일어났어? 언제 만날까? 언제 can also be used at the end of a sentence, and here are some examples. When is your birthday? 생일이 언제예요? 생일이 언제예요? When is the meeting? 회의가 언제예요? 회의가 언제예요? When is the vacation? 방학이 언제예요? 방학이 언제예요? And here's informal way of saying these sentences. 생일이 언제야? 회의가 언제야? 방학이 언제야? And sometimes 언제 is used with the particle like this. When is good for you? 언제가 좋아요? 언제가 좋아요? Since when have you been waiting? 언제부터 기다렸어요? 언제부터 기다렸어요? Until when do I have to wait? 언제까지 기다려야 돼요? 언제까지 기다려야 돼요? And here's informal way of saying these sentences. 언제가 좋아? 언제부터 기다렸어? 언제까지 기다려야 돼? The next question word is 어디, which means where. Here's when 어디 is used at the beginning of a sentence. Where are you going? 어디 가요? 어디 가요? Where do you live? 어디 살아요? 어디 살아요? Where do you want to go? 어디 가고 싶어요? 어디 가고 싶어요? And here's the informal version. 어디 가? 어디 살아? 어디 가고 싶어? And here's when 어디 is used at the end of a sentence. Where's the restroom? 화장실이 어디예요? 화장실이 어디예요? Where's the school? 학교가 어디예요? 학교가 어디예요? Where's the hospital? 병원이 어디예요? 병원이 어디예요? And here's the informal version. 화장실이 어디야? 학교가 어디야? 병원이 어디야? And sometimes 어디 is used with a particle like this. Where are you from? 어디에서 왔어요? 어디에서 왔어요? Where do you want to go? 어디로 갈까요? 어디로 갈까요? Where do you like? 어디가 좋아요? 어디가 좋아요? And here's the informal version. 어디에서 왔어? 어디로 갈까? 어디가 좋아? The next question word is 무엇 or 뭐, which means what. 무엇 and 뭐 have the same exact meaning, but in daily conversations we use 뭐 more often than 무엇, so we're going to use 뭐 for our example sentences. Here's when 뭐 is used at the beginning of a sentence. What do you want to eat? 뭐 먹고 싶어요? 뭐 먹고 싶어요? What did you buy? 뭐 샀어요? 뭐 샀어요? What did you say? 뭐라고요? 뭐라고요? And here's the informal version. 뭐 먹고 싶어? 뭐 샀어? 뭐라고? Here's when 뭐 is used at the end of a sentence. What is this? 이게 뭐예요? 이게 뭐예요? What is your name? 이름이 뭐예요? 이름이 뭐예요? What is your phone number? 전화번호가 뭐예요? 전화번호가 뭐예요? And here's the informal way. 이게 뭐야? 이름이 뭐야? 전화번호가 뭐야? And sometimes 뭐 is used with the particle. What is different? 뭐가 달라요? 뭐가 달라요? What should we eat first? 뭐부터 먹을까요? 뭐부터 먹을까요? What did you make it with? 뭐로 만들었어요? 뭐로 만들었어요? And for informal speech, you can say 뭐가 달라? 뭐부터 먹을까? 뭐로 만들었어? The next question word is 어떻게, which means how. Here's when 어떻게 is used at the beginning of the sentence. How are you? 어떻게 지내요? 어떻게 지내요? How does it look? 어떻게 생겼어요? 어떻게 생겼어요? How did you find out? 어떻게 알았어요? 어떻게 알았어요? And here's the informal version. 어떻게 지내? 어떻게 생겼어? 어떻게 알았어? And here are some examples where 어떻게 is used at the end. How does it taste? 맛이 어때요? 맛이 어때요? How do you feel? 기분이 어때요? 기분이 어때요? How is the weather? 날씨가 어때요? 날씨가 어때요? And when you're talking to your friends, you can say 맛이 어때? 기분이 어때? 날씨가 어때? And please note that 어떻게 is never used with the particle. The next question word is 누가 or 누구, which means who. When who is used as the subject of the sentence, we use 누가. And here are some examples where 누가 is used at the beginning of a sentence. Who did it? 누가 그랬어요? 누가 그랬어요? Who is bigger? 누가 더 커요? 누가 더 커요? Who wants to go? 누가 갈래요? 누가 갈래요? And here's the informal way of saying these sentences. 누가 그랬어? 누가 더 커? 누가 갈래? And when who is used as the object of the sentence, we use 누구. Who are you? 누구세요? 누구세요? Who are you looking for? 누구 찾아요? 누구 찾아요? Who did you meet? 누구 만났어요? 누구 만났어요? And for informal speech, you can say 누구야? 누구 찾아? 누구 만났어? And here's when 누구 is used at the end of a sentence. And please note that 누가 cannot be used at the end of a sentence. Who's that person? 저 사람 누구예요? 저 사람 누구예요? Who's the teacher? 선생님이 누구예요? 선생님이 누구예요? Who's the criminal? 범인이 누구예요? 범인이 누구예요? And here's the informal speech. 저 사람 누구야? 선생님이 누구야? 범인이 누구야? 누구 can also be used with a particle, and here are the examples. Who do you like? 누구를 좋아해요? 누구를 좋아해요? Who are you going with? 누구랑 가요? 누구랑 가요? Who are you calling? 누구한테 전화해요? 누구한테 전화해요? And here's the informal speech. 누구를 좋아해? 누구랑 가? 누구한테 전화해? The next question word is 왜, which means why. 왜 is always used at the beginning or in the middle of a sentence, and it cannot be used at the end of a sentence. Also, 왜 is rarely used with a particle. Here's when 왜 is used at the beginning of a sentence. Why are you crying? 왜 울어요? 왜 울어요? Why did you fight? 왜 싸웠어요? 왜 싸웠어요? Why did you call? 왜 전화했어요? 왜 전화했어요? And for informal speech, you can say 왜 울어? 왜 싸웠어? 왜 전화했어? The last question word is 어떤, which means which or what kind of. 어떤 can either mean which or what kind of. And first, let's look at when 어떤 is used as which. Which one do you like better? 어떤 게 더 좋아요? 어떤 게 더 좋아요? Which one do you want to eat? 어떤 거 먹을래요? 어떤 거 먹을래요? Which one did you buy? 어떤 거 샀어요? 어떤 거 샀어요? And here's the informal speech. 어떤 게 더 좋아? 어떤 거 먹을래? 어떤 거 샀어? And here are some examples where 어떤 means what kind of. What kind of music do you like? 어떤 음악 좋아해요? 어떤 음악 좋아해요? What kind of movie should we watch? 어떤 영화 볼까요? 어떤 영화 볼까요? What kind of person is he? 그 남자는 어떤 사람이에요? 그 남자는 어떤 사람이에요? And here's the informal speech. 어떤 음악 좋아해? 어떤 영화 볼까? 그 남자는 어떤 사람이야?